We all face it: the persistent anxiety of an unpredictable future, the fear of losing what we hold dear. This fear is the root of much of our suffering. But ancient wisdom offers us a path, a compass that points toward the center of our soul. Join us on this journey of self-knowledge and awakening consciousness, where we will discover how age-old philosophies transform uncertainty into inner strength. This fear is the root of much of our suffering. On this path of self-knowledge and awakening consciousness, we will discover how Stoic philosophy offers a profound roadmap for accepting the inevitable ups and downs of life, helping you develop the resilience for whatever comes next. Perhaps you are going through a moment where everything seems meaningless. Economic shifts, rapid advancements, the cycles of life, all create a constant sense of instability. The human mind, programmed to seek security and stability, finds impermanence inherently uncomfortable, almost a threat. We seek control, guaranteed outcomes, the eternal, but life offers us only flow, the river that is never the same twice. This internal resistance to flow is what we call attachment, and it is in it that fear and suffering reside. This search for something fixed, for an external anchor, is a profound invitation to spiritual awakening. It is an invitation for us to stop suffering more in imagination than in reality, as Seneca, the Stoic, wisely taught us. The spirituality we seek guides us inward, to the only point that can remain in presence and stability: your consciousness. This video is an invitation for you to dive into the silent wisdom of active acceptance, finding your resilience in the most fundamental truth of existence. Everything passes. Allow yourself this pause, this listening to the soul. The external world is a gigantic mirror of impermanence. We see volatility everywhere, in technology that transforms every year, in conflicts that redefine borders, in the natural cycles of birth and death. Our brains, however, are incredible machines of predictability. They crave routines, certainties, a firm footing. And when the ground shakes, when we are confronted by uncertainty, the mind sets off anxiety alarms, overloading our sense of control. This is a moment of deep validation. The pain of not knowing what is coming is not your fault. It is the pain of humanity, the pain of the ego that clings to the illusion that it can stop time and change. But, as in the metaphor of the river that teaches effortless fluidity, life is incessantly in motion. Our difficulty in dealing with change is, deep down, our resistance to accepting that we are not the source of order, but rather a part of it. It is the hardest lesson in personal development to learn. Letting go is like opening the hands from an invisible knot that was holding the heart. The key is in redirecting the compass of our search. Instead of trying to control the storm outside, we are invited to tend to the candle that remains lit in the silence of the chest. Embrace this truth. You are not broken. You are in transformation. What the world calls turbulence, silent wisdom calls natural law. This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism offers us a safe harbor. Stoic philosophy is not about passive resignation, but about the most radical of actions, active acceptance. The Stoic masters invited us to amor fati, the love of one's own destiny. It is not just tolerating what happens, but loving what is, seeing in every event, good or challenging, a necessary ingredient for the totality of life. True power, according to the Stoics, lies in focusing on our internal reactions, and not on external events. Sickness will come. Loss is certain. The economy will change. Trying to control this is fighting against the very structure of the universe. The only thing you can control, the only thing that resides in your total authority, is the way you choose to respond, how you interpret the event in your mind. This is a powerful practice for inner silence. When you stop fighting against reality, you free yourself from mental torment. Emotional healing begins where you stop fighting against what you feel. Seneca's wisdom resonates. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Acceptance is the foundation of resilience. Stop fighting against what is already happening. And what if that same impermanence, which the Stoic learns to embrace, is the path that Buddhism teaches us to cross? Buddhism, in its original teachings, places impermanence, anicca, at the center of its vision. Buddha taught us that suffering arises from attachment to something that is inherently transient. If everything is in flux, our thoughts, feelings, body, relationships, possessions, clinging to any of these elements is like trying to hold river water. The hand closes empty. The meeting point with Stoicism here is clarity, facing impermanence not just as loss, but as an incessant source of novelty and opportunity. If nothing lasts, then suffering does not last either. Today's difficulty will dissolve like the morning mist. This perspective forces us to return to the only real moment, the now, presence. The soul is not in a hurry. It has rhythm. By reflecting daily on the transient nature of all things, as Marcus Aurelius did, we develop a provisional mindset. Plans are flexible. Results are not guaranteed. This is not a lack of purpose. It is purpose rooted in reality. This is spiritual awakening lived in the everyday. And what if the pain that confuses you today is, in fact, the language of your soul trying to guide you to the liberation from attachment? This invitation to detachment is not new. It expands into an even broader and more cosmic vision. Helena Blavatsky and the Theosophical tradition offers a more cosmic perspective on impermanence. For Theosophy, constant change in the material plane or in the manifested world is the expression of deeper universal laws, the incessant dance of Prakriti, matter, and Purusha, spirit or soul. Physical reality is seen as illusory or transient, Maya, a veil that unravels and remakes itself in gigantic cycles. Impermanence, in this context, is not a defect, but the very nature of manifestation. Theosophy reminds us of the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. The instability we feel in our outer life is a reflection of the laws of movement and transformation that govern the cosmos. Death and loss are merely transitions from one state to another. This vision invites deep personal development and reconnection. If the world outside is fluidity, stability must be found in the inner self, in the immutable principle of your consciousness. The cave of introspection is our internal temple, the sacred dwelling within the being where silence is not absence, but presence without noise. The wisdom of these masters is not just theoretical. It is a life practice. Impermanence accepted and loved frees us from the anxiety of clinging to the past or a fixed future. Fear dissolves when we understand that we cannot lose something that was never ours to begin with. Stoicism gave us the premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum, mentally preparing for possible setbacks to reduce their impact. Buddhism gave us non-attachment. Contemplative spirituality invites us to kindness with the now. True freedom comes from aligning with reality, instead of fighting against it. When you align your inner energy with the fluidity of life, you manifest the resilience and adaptability that promote your inner transformation. All healing begins with the acceptance of what hurts. And what if what you have called uncertainty is, in fact, the fertile void, the womb of the invisible, ready to generate the new reality your lively soul yearns for? Impermanence is not a curse. It is the blessing of movement. It is the gentlest and firmest invitation from the universe for you to return to your presence. Do not run after the light. Become the lamp lit in the dark. True acceptance is not a finish line. It is a foundation. It is the basis where you build your wisdom and resilience with the certainty that, no matter how strong the wind of change blows, your inner temple, your soul, remains intact. The fertile void of uncertainty is the space where the sacred manifests in your life. I now invite you to a brief practice of presence. Inhale deeply, bringing the air to the center of your chest. As you exhale, release the need to know what tomorrow will bring. Imagine yourself as a mountain. The winds, the changes, the rain, the emotions, and the fog, the uncertainty, pass, but your base, your consciousness, remains stable. Just for an instant, completely accept what is now. This is your point of power. If something within you has calmed or awakened upon hearing these words, allow yourself to continue. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to walk with us along this road of fertile silence, discoveries, and reconnection. And if you seek a safe harbor to nurture this newly lit flame and find those who walk at the same frequency, our community is the sanctuary where fertile silence is shared and deepened. And to continue expanding your sanctuary of clarity, we suggest the video that is in the card. May it be a breath, peace and light.